Hi my love, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to yet another video. So we're learning how to make this bell sleeve and a stylish neckline of this A-line flare shirt dress. So if this is something you're interested in, keep on watching. So I create a vertical line straight half inch. This will serve as my starting point line. So go ahead and do the same on your fabric, and mind you, this is fold in 4 places. That's to say that I'll be cutting both the front and the back, and the length of my dress is 37, but I'll be folding in with 3 inches. So I went in to take my shoulder measurements. So go ahead and mark your shoulder measurement. Mine is 8.5. Then from this distance to my chest is 8.5, and that's what I mark from there. I've already done this, but I noticed it wasn't filming. I had to start afresh. Then 1 inch for shoulder slope. So I'll go ahead to take my waist measurement, which is 18 inches, and I'll also go ahead to take my hip measurement from that end, which is 27 inches. So I'll go ahead to put my horizontal measurement. So my bust measurement divided by 4 is 11.5, and that's what I marked there. So I'll go ahead to put my shoulder measurement that is divided by 2. I'm going to connect that line like so, and I'm going to connect both line like this. So go ahead and do the same for yours. Then I'm also going to take my waist measurement divided by 4. I'm going to put it there. Then the round hip measurement also divide by 4. I'm going to put the measurement over there. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to add 1 inch for ease allowance, and I'm still going to add 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'll be left with total 2 inches from that part, and I'm going to do the same thing for my waist, and I'm going to add ease allowance and my sewing allowance. I'm going to do the same thing to my hip. I'm going to add 1 inch for ease allowance and 1 inch for sewing allowance. So go ahead and do the same for that part. So I'm going to go ahead to take whatever I have on my hip down to the end part of my dress. So I'm going to add extra 4 inches for the A-line shape. So I'm going to connect the lines together like you see me doing. So go ahead and do the same. Just connect those lines like you see me doing in this video. So one thing I realized when I want to connect this that I don't like is as if it's, stepping out from that A-line shape. So I minused 1 inch. So that means from that place, I added extra 3 inches instead of 4 inch from that part of the end part of my dress. I added 3 inch. Then I went in by 1 inch and I curved like so in order to ease off some sharpness from that end. So I'll go ahead to take my shoulder measurement, and I went in with the shoulder of 3 inches, and I also go in to take the shoulder of 1.5, and I'm also going to go ahead to take the shoulder of 3 inches. So I have 3 by 3 and 1.5. So go ahead and do the same for yours. Both the depth is 3 inches and the width is 3 inches for my front shoulder, and also for my back is 3 and 1.5. So I'm going ahead to connect the shoulder slope like you see me doing at this video. So the half inch allowance, this is the reason why I left the half inch allowance. I'm going to connect it like you see me doing. I'm going to connect it there for the sewing allowance on my shoulder line. I'm going to connect the line like so, and I'll go ahead to cut this like you see me doing. I'm just going to cut this like so. So I'll just go ahead to create my armhole curve. So what I did, I have 7.5. I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'll go in by half inch, and I'm going to connect it to exactly where my bust point ends, which is 11.5, not where the ease ends, it's just where the bust ends. So I'll connect it like so, and this material is a silky fabric, so it's a bit slippery, so it's very tender, so I have to pin down to cut. So I removed the back from the front, and I'm going to go ahead to cut the front. The only difference from the front and the back is just the shoulder. I'm just going to go ahead to cut that 3 inches that we left earlier. But first of all, I'm going to pin down. Like I said, this fabric is quite slippery, so I pin down in order to cut. So it depends on the fabric that you're working with. You might likely have to pin down. So I went in with 4 inches for that design. So I'm going to go ahead to mark that line like so. So go ahead and do the same. So I'll go in by half inch from this end. I'm going to connect that line like so. So go ahead and do the same for yours. I'm just going to pin down. Like I said, this fabric is quite slippery. So I'll just pin down and I'm going to cut this out as you can see. So go ahead and do the same for yours. Afterwards, I'll set it outside to cut my sleeve. So this is the remaining fabric that I have. My fabric is quite small. So I went in to mark like half inch for the starting point and I'm going to take the measurement of 32. This is how long I want this because I still want to fold in by 3 inches. So that's why I marked 32 from that end. So I went in by 5 inches. I went in by 5 inches to create that part. So go ahead and do the same. Go in by 5 inches, but I feel like the distance is quite far, so I have to drag it to this point so you can see clearly. So this is just what I did. I'm going to just cut this way. It's quite easy. But if you want a detailed video on how to create a sleeve, let me know in the comment section and I will do where to create one for you guys. But this is quite easy to create that. And you at this point, I'm going to try to connect like a flare, like the way we did with the A-liner. So I'm going to try to create a flare. In as much as my fabric is quite small, I think this will also give us a flare. So I'll just go ahead to cut. But if your fabric is a bit much, you could go further to create your A-line flare. So I'll go ahead to cut off that half inches there. So at this point, I'll go ahead to create my facing. So I'll pin down like you see me doing and I'm going to cut with the shape that we have, like the pattern that we have. I'm going to cut as so. Mind you, the fabric I'm using is folded, so I'm just going to cut like so. So go ahead and do the same for yours. And after cutting this, what I'm going to do is to go in by 3 inches from the shoulder. I'm going to go in by 3 inches and I'm going to curve like you see me doing in this video. So go ahead, depending on how you want it, you can just play along with it. Oh, I went in by 3.5 at that point and I'm just going to curve like so. So I also did the same thing for the back. I cut out and I went in by 3.5 and I'm going to also do the same thing like I did. I'm going to curve like so, but at the back I still did the same thing, like following that 3.5. I'm going to curve like you see it in this video, and this is what I'm going to have for my back facing and also for my front facing. I'll go ahead to pin that down and I'm going to sew with a ½ inch sewing allowance, and I'm still going to do the same thing for the front. I'm going to sew with a ½ inch sewing allowance. So go ahead and do this and following my description in this video, and afterwards I'm going to go ahead to notch this like you see me doing. So I use a hemstring to hold it in place, so when I press it will lap flat on it. So I'm going to go ahead to top stitch. So go ahead and do the same top stitch. So you're going to top stitch on the facing and not on the main fabric. You're going to top stitch on the facing and not on the main fabric. So you also have to do the same thing for the front and the back. Top stitch on the main fabric, and this is what I have after I'm done. So if you're following along, you should have something like this. I've gone ahead to give it a good press and go ahead and do the same for yours, and this is what is looking at this point. And I'm going to just place the front and the back together in order to join from the shoulder. So you just place the back and the front facing each other. The front pattern will be facing the back pattern of your pattern of your dress, then you join from the shoulder. So like I join, just do the same, meet the facing and the main fabric together and join like so. I'm going to do the same thing for this part. You're going to let the front facing and the back facing the front pattern, you let them join together and you stitch like so. So afterwards, this is what we have, guys. So I've gone in to give it a good press. I'm going to go ahead to attach my sleeve to the dress. So I'll go ahead to fold the midpoint in order to let the midpoint of my sleeve to join to the midpoint of my shoulder point. I'm going to join the front fabric facing the front fabric of my dress, and I'll pin down like so. And afterwards I'm going to go ahead to stitch round where the pin was holding with 1/2 inch, and I'll do the same thing for both the two side sleeve. I'm going to go ahead to stitch with 1/2 inch, so go ahead and do the same, and I also do the same thing for the left sleeve. So this is what we have after we are done stitching the sleeve. I'm going to go ahead to sew with the 1 inch allowance that I gave. I'm going to stitch round like you see me doing in this my description. Just go ahead and do the same. Just flip it backwards and stitch, and afterwards you hem your dress and you are good to go. At this point we're almost done with this dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold in my sleeve with 1.5, and I will go ahead to fold again by 1.5. I'll do the same for the down part of this dress. I'll fold with 1.5 and also fold again with 1.5, and I will stitch, and this is what we have after. So guys, this is the final look of this dress. I love every inch of it, and please let me know your thoughts and suggestion on this dress, and if it's something you will recreate, please say something in the comment section. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see your response. And please do wait to subscribe to my channel if you see this video and you find it interesting. Please turn off your notification bell so you know when I post, and please share the video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.